This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diving, welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this date. And on this day, February the 1st, in 1947, my dad, Ron, was born. Great moment as he turned 75. Or he would have turned 75 if he didn't die of heart failure on February 29th, 2020. So sad. I know that the picture doesn't tell the whole story, obviously, but just wanted to get it out there that, my dad would turn 75 today. But anyhow, this date was February 1st, 2004, when one of the biggest controversies in halftime history happened, not just Super Bowl history. Now, of course, this was weird how the halftime show overshadowed the game and all of that. You could also make the argument for Michael Jackson's 93 Super Bowl halftime show being one of the best, and it actually overshadowed Dallas's crushing defeat of the Buffalo Bills. But anyway, yeah, the halftime show used to just be bands and just some kind of weird themes and all that. There were good halftime shows, there were bad halftime shows, and many in between. Anyway, so Super Bowl 38 had a halftime controversy. Now, the game was actually great. I mean, the New England Patriots beat the Carolina Panthers on a last-second field goal by Adam Vinatieri. And Carolina almost shocked the Pats in that game. I remember watching that, and I was like, oh my God. This was just terrible and all that. So anyway, Super Bowl 38 halftime comes on from Houston, Texas, where, we got ourselves a Super Bowl. Now, of course, obviously, I don't want to show the picture of the actual breast and the nipple shield because technically that is wrong and YouTube will have a fit. Anyhow, so it's called Nipplegate for a reason. Anyway, the halftime show was produced by MTV and broadcast to a total audience of 150 million viewers because a lot of people liked. A lot of people were non-football fans that just wanted to watch for the halftime show. Anyway, the NFL allowed, after this, excluded MTV from any halftime shows whatsoever. In addition, CBS parent company Viacom enforced a and even MTV, who was a co-owned subsidiary, enforced a blacklist of Jackson's singles and music videos. So basically, Janet Jackson's stuff was just blacklisted. And the FCC fined CBS over $500,000. Well, it was supposed to be $27,000, then increased it to $25,000. Then it went up to $550,000. But it was actually voided. But the $550,000 fine was voided because it was too high and all that. Anyway, the incident was ridiculed because it was a planned publicity stunt. A lot of people said it was a sign of decreasing morality in American culture, all that. Anyway, people thought that this was to distract the public from the ongoing Iraq war. It didn't. Anyway, YouTube co-founder Jawed Karim said this led to the creation of YouTube. Janet Jackson was the most searched person in term in 2004 and 2005. It was amazing. It was the most recorded replayed TV moment in TiVo history. TiVo being the PVR of its day. And wardrobe malfunction was actually coined as a term. Anyway, there was a lot of things going on. Anyway, Janet Jackson actually was going to perform at halftime for Super Bowl 36. But the NFL selected YouTube But the NFL decided in September 2003 to allow her to be part of Super Bowl 38. All that. And Justin Timberlake actually was part of NSYNC, and Janet Jackson selected the boy band as the opening act for many dates on her Velvet Rope World Tour. All that. They were relatively unknown and all that. Anyway, during the halftime of Super Bowl 38, Jackson performed her medley hits, All For You, Rhythm Nation, and The Knowledge. And then Justin Timberlake was a surprise guest to perform a duet of a song, Rock Your Body, with Jackson. There was some suggestive dance moves, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was when Timberlake reached his final line, Gonna Have You Naked by the end of the song. He pulled off a part of Jackson's costume, and the move revealed Jackson's right breast with a nipple shield for less than a second. After which CBS broadcast immediately cut to a wide shot of the stage for a pyrotechnic effect. It was known as a wardrobe malfunction and all that. NTV and CBS did apologize for the and said that they had no prior knowledge that the duet would be partial nudity. It was supposed to reveal a brassiere and all that. So yeah, it was weird. Anyway, it was really criticized. There was supposed to be an MTV documentary about making the Super Bowl halftime show, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. It was supposed to reveal a red lace bra, but the garment collapsed. And all that. CBS did require Janet Jackson to make a public apology, and she felt embarrassed and all that. She tried her best to get on that, but Janet Jackson was a symbolic Joan of Arc to burn at the stake to distract from important issues and all that. The worst part was that Timberlake sounded unapologetic for his actions. He told Access Hollywood, "Hey man, we love giving you something to talk about." He did release a statement saying he was sorry about the wardrobe malfunction and all that. And Timberlake did address the incident at the Grammys and all that. There were a lot of furies and all that. Of course, the Americans got a little angry and all that. The Super Bowl controversy was a subject of humor on late night talk shows and all that. People were saying the distaste and all that shit. So anyway, yeah, censorship on TV was more prevalent during the halftime show. And in fact, a lot of ABC affiliate stations refused to broadcast Saving Private Ryan because of the profanity. But it would go on cable to avoid controversy. In Canada, there wasn't too much of a outrage. There was like 50 people who complained to the Broadcast Standards Council with Global Broadcasting it, all that. So it was weird. In Canada, we didn't have it. And of course, speaking of Canada, did I watch the halftime show? Yes and no. I actually didn't really watch the halftime show as much. The funny story was that, well, I was still living on the farm until I moved to Kitchener to do my college stuff. The funny thing was that I was actually distracted reading a football history book that my sister Christine bought for me for Christmas. So I was distracted by that, and I didn't really watch the halftime show, and I didn't really notice the breast, and I'm like, what the heck happened? And then the next day, they were talking about this, and I'm like, that's weird. I never watched that. Now, I must tell this story. I'm ashamed of myself, but February 1st, I was supposed to go out for dinner with my parents to Swiss Chalet in Stratford. But I said, No, it's the Super Bowl. I want to watch the Super Bowl and all that. Well, I was 18. I could make my own decisions, all that. But still, yeah. Like I felt ashamed of myself. Thankfully, though, the Pats won. If the Pats had lost, I would have blamed myself. But anyhow, yeah, it was kind of funny and all that. Of course, the FCC made massive fines and all that. The halftime show led to a great spike in FCC issued fines and complaints and all that. So anyway, the FCC was not really too happy and all that. So anyway, it would be a little bit of problems and all that. So CBS had a lot of problems to deal with and all that. Anyway, there was a lot of problems. But that wasn't the only issue at Super Bowl 38. Moments after the Jackson Timberlake tangle, professional streaker Mark Roberts added to it by running around the field naked, except for a well placed G string attached to a miniature football. Part of his stunt was actually broadcast before players from both teams tackled him. So, man, if it wasn't bad enough. So, anyway, there was a lot of aftermath, censorship and regulation of broadcasting and all that. All that. There was a lot of crackdowns made over reactionary. All that. Sporting events actually changed their respective halftime shows. At the Pro Bowl, J.C. Chazet, who was a member of NSYNC with Timberlake, was to sing the national anthem before the game and perform at halftime, but the NFL did not allow it. All that. They changed it to Hawaiian hula dancers. The 2004 NBA All-Star Game also changed its act, despite being broadcast on TNT, which was not bound by FCC content because it was a cable network. Beyonce had to perform Crazy in Love instead of Naughty Girl. There would be some broadcast delays and all that. So there would be a lot of things and all that. Beginning with Super Bowl 39 in 2005, the halftime show was produced by White Cherry Entertainment, and these shows contained classic rock artists who performed songs from the 70s and 80s. So basically, for 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, the halftime show was just conservative performers. Bruce Springsteen, Paul McCartney, basically just old timey. Madonna, not Madonna, but by 2011, the halftime performance came back to pop artists. Man, overreaction. Anyway. There's a lot of things. Sports broadcasting was greatly affected by controversy. They stiffened people stiffen fines on improper language or gestures and all that. So anyway, it was weird. The FCC was not happy about the Randy Moss pretending to moon people and all that. Because, well, there was complaints, but Moss was fully clothed, even though that Joe Buck was being a bitch. So anyway, yeah, there was a lot of things and all that. There was actually a book called The Decency Wars that said that the Super Bowl halftime show influence the primary focus for moral values and media decency. So that basically, as people might take it as the fact that that was why George Bush actually won the election in 2004, alongside the unpopular theory, which I do kind of believe, that, Bush, because of 9/11 and all that, if it wasn't for Bush's 9/11s helping out, that he would have been a dead duck. He was not really popular because he won a controversial election in 2000. So that's the problem. And, and as Brian said on Family Guy, that Bush couldn't, if Bush was not elected in 2004, he couldn't push 9/11 and the whole freedom problems on people. Anyway, Janet Jackson was massively impacted on all that. Timberlake didn't really have much of it. I mean, Jackson tried her best to do things, but Timberlake was the Teflon man because it didn't affect him and all that. Timberlake said that he only had 10% of the blame and all that. Anyway, yeah, Timberlake's career was not really affected much, but Jackson's was. That was kind of pathetic and all that. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. In popular culture, it was hit hard and all that. Anyway, Family Guy did an episode called PTV, which was a parody of the FCC's strict measures and regulation. Because the scene said that David I. Pierce had a wardrobe malfunction and that the FCC overreacted and all that. So, that episode actually received Primetime Emmy Award nominations for subject matter. And Jackson's performance inspired the South Park episodes Good Times with Weapons, when basically they accidentally put a shooting star in Butter's eye and tries to fix him. But Eric Cartman tries to have his cloak of invisibility in front of an auction, but there was a problem and all that. And the show's creators draw attention to the media and public's unnecessary reaction to the exposure while disregarding or accepting extreme acts of violence. Because the public was outraged when Cartman was seen naked and having wardrobe malfunction at the auction, while Butters is ignored, although he's bleeding and severely injured. So yeah, the legacy would be big. It would help YouTube come through. But unfortunately for Janet Jackson, she took a massive hit and she should never have done that. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.